This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater 40 of Beverly Hills for their presentation of Engaging Shaw. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Susan Prever. I've done tons of Equity Waiver theater, and the last play I did here was a wonderful play by Terrence Rattigan called Separate Tables that Jules Aaron directed, with a very large cast and a rotating set, and it was a really wonderful production. My favorite role, actually, is playing a very, very dumb blonde, a Tennessee Williams play that I did a couple of years ago at the Odyssey, in one of his more obscure plays called Kingdom of Earth. And so Beatrice Webb is a completely different kind of character in that she is extremely intelligent, extremely sharp, extremely devoted to women's rights, very ahead of her time. She's not a dumbass like I was in that play, which I really enjoyed doing. And I'm having a great time with the cast, the director, we're just having a great time. And yeah, it's difficult words, a lot of words, very wordy play. Based on historical character, it's a very interesting experience.
I love the way you played the character. You're so three-dimensional. You give her such an elegance about her, an intellect, a charm. You just gave her a glow about her.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you very much. Well, I feel like women in those days were perhaps a little more aware of, I don't know if Beatrice is so much because she's quite intelligent, but I think the women from that era and earlier had a little bit more aware of their presence in a way, not necessarily to attract men, but to bring grace to the world. And I think that's why I love playing women from that time, because there is more grace. We're a little bit sloppier now. That's just the way we are. Look at me now. I'm a relaxed, casual fool.
Yeah, I also like the way, again, it dealt with social issues we're still dealing with. This bizarre way where women are basically supposed to be uplifted, but it's kind of like this bizarre thing where marriage makes a person great, but at the same time it makes them subservient. You know, some people think of marriage as being like a paradise, but you turn out you're actually in jail. You're bonded, you know.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's a duplicity that it's just part of nature, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we still feel that today. But I think that the Webbs and Shaw particularly were very aware of that particular nexus, so to speak. So even though Beatrice is married, she does know that women are in a prison if they're married, even though there is this social thing to get people together. Because also for the minds, it works better, two sometimes work better than one. And that's what we have in this play.
I also love their marriage. I just love the relationship they had, their interplay. They're just the perfect couple.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. It's the marriage of the minds, I think.
Yeah. Once again, I really love your performance.
Thank you.
Really love your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Grinnell Morris. Been at this theater company for a long time, and just love doing live theater. It's so different from, what we normally do in this town, which is, one line cut, one line, repeat the scene. This is quite a different experience, and just love doing it.
And which character did you play tonight?
I played George Bernard Shaw. He's quite an interesting man. When I started to dive into this role, I had my own kind of rudimentary knowledge of who he was, but as I studied him, gosh, what a brilliant man and very forward-thinking, and the fact that he was a vegetarian and a teetotaler, and he lived to be 94 years old, which born in 1856, that's some healthy living, and he had some very progressive views. Although I think later on in his life, some of those views became less progressive. I think he eventually socialism. I think he got frustrated with it. And he was, I think kind of a little tongue-in-cheek, but there's some truth to it. I think a benevolent dictatorship was something that he thought might better serve, because I guess he was frustrated with socialism. But yeah, quite. I mean, gosh, he's a writer, so he's really, his quotes. He's very witty, very smart. And it was really fun to kind of get to know him. And there's a dark side to him too. I mean, I learned that at one point he thought that perhaps gassing people that were not productive society members might be a good thing to do. And that's I mean, talk about a radical thought. That's pretty radical.
I'm not sure if I would consider him an intellectual, because there are a lot of great intellectuals. I would consider him unconventional, very experimental, kind of revolutionary, opposed to being this mastermind who thinks, I have the answer to everything. No, let's try this thing practically. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't, and let's move on.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's very true, and I think I think it's evident in this play that he had a relationship with his mother, or lack of relationship with his mother, that greatly influenced his I guess capacity to love. I mean, he did end up marrying Charlotte Payne Townsend, but I think it was probably a struggle. He didn't get married until he was in his 40s. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that his mother abandoned him, even though he was very pro-woman.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, the playwright has he's labeled it a romantic comedy, so hopefully they will see things that are funny, but they will also see, I mean, I think that this play has heart, and you learn a lot about who these people were. I learned a lot just from reading the play about Fabianism and socialism, and and how contemporary these ideas still are. I know you talked about that with some of the other actors and actresses in the play, but these are things that we still debate today. So.
I love the play. But first of all, again, dealt with a lot of really heady topics. Talked about Nietzsche, talked about socialism, talked about, again, Fabianism. Talked a lot about things we're dealing with right now, in which I think the reason we have problems with them is because there's so much duplicity in nature, where marriage is like paradise, but at the same time it's like prison, where, pain and pleasure, where, it's like, choice and actually freedom of choice and actually moral obligation on it. It's just part of the system. And when you try to come up with something, some point in time or some point to the future, no, you got to realize that there's a point in the past too. You know what I mean? I mean, this is the way life is. You have pain and pleasure.
Right. I agree. And the older one gets, certainly for me, this is true for me, that things are so not black and white. Everything is a gray area, because you have in life, on this planet, we have diametrically opposed things, and that's what creates the tension of life. Is you have black and white and everything in between, and so I think I always find that fascinating. If a story is told correctly, it should be exposing the gray area of all these issues.
Yeah, well, I really love the performance, because again, it was so complex, had such textures to it. Plus, it gave such a three-dimensional picture of Shaw, his beauty, his weaknesses, but also, again, this society that we're talking about, this great society of the pain and the pleasure. It was very realistic. It was very honest. I just love the play, and I loved your character too.
Thank you very much. It was great to have you here. I appreciate you guys coming out for the opening of the show.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Jennifer Davis. This is my second performance show here at the Theater 40. You saw me last year in Bay Company.
Okay, which character did you play tonight?
I play Charlotte Payne Townsend, the love interest to the very unconventional George Bernard Shaw. She is a multifaceted, wonderful woman who's trying to find her way in a society that has not quite come to appreciate women with brains and ability. She has all of this wonderful knowledge to give, but she doesn't know how to shape it until she stumbles upon the Webbs and George Bernard Shaw. And George is one of the first ones to ever treat her as an equal, as opposed to, oh, you're just a woman, you just need to be going to teas and having a family, and she's not having any of that. She wants to contribute. She just doesn't know how until she meets up with the three of them.
I was amazed at how modern it was, because in a sense we're talking about this actually felt like it could be played today.
It's a never-ending cycle, especially for women's rights, and how men are view women, and most of John's wonderful dialogue actually came from letters that the four of them all wrote. There's this wonderful book called Mrs. GBS, and I can't remember who the author was. It really shows the dynamic of the four of them. And it was a little, Shaw and Charlotte, I think, not only are they soulmates, but they also feed off of each other. And the Irish volatility that happens, and they come apart and they go away, and he still has all of his fake amours, and she had a tumultuous an affair with T.S. Lawrence. And so they're coming together. Truly, they are soulmates, and they feed and work off of each other, and then go away. But yes, it's very strange that 200 years later, because this takes place in 1896, that we're still talking about the same things. That women are still trying to fight. That men still kind of have their thumb on us, on our back, saying no, 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 and we're like, yes, yes, yes. And the Webbs and Shaw, look at what they created. They created the London School of Economics and the Fabian Society. So it was in a time when when violence ruled, and they're like, no, 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 let us do it Martin Luther King style, for modern terms.
Well, I really love the play because, again, the four intellectual giants, so elegant, and also the way you just brought a three-dimensional character, giving them life, because again, they were real characters, and you just gave them so much substance. I really love the way you guys played it.
Thank you so much. She's dear to my heart. I read the play first 7 years ago, and then fell in love with her, and there's a reason why I get to do it now, because I've learned a lot about myself, and now I understand her turning point when she discovers you can't live for somebody else. You have to live for yourself. You have to make yourself useful. You have to make yourself important first before you can share that importance with somebody else. And that's what I tried to bring to her.
Well, I love the performance. I love your performance.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
My name's Warren Davis, and I am playing the character of Sidney Webb in Engaging Shaw here at Theatre 40. Well, Sidney is an economist, a very smart man. Shaw refers to him as the smartest man in England. And yet he also he's a light-hearted guy. He's in a wonderful marriage. He loves his wife very dearly, and I think he loves his life. He's a pretty happy guy.
Some people would actually comment him as, in his marriage, is actually his wife is the leader. She wears the pants in the family and all that. But strangely enough, he seems to make it work. It's like, it empowers her, and that's what he wants. And he himself is pleased with it. So it seems to be just working for him, practical.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty happy where things are. He doesn't see any problems in the marriage. Obviously, if you come and see the show, you see that, maybe there are problems in his marriage, but he does not see them. And I don't know I think they are actually equal partners. I don't know that Beatrice wears the pants, and I think really he defers to her because he respects her so much. So I do think, though, that they do operate as equals.
I was amazed at how philosophical, how social this play was. It talked a lot about women's rights, and also the relationship between man and women. It talked about Nietzsche and the Superman, Superwoman, and all that. I was just amazed at how intellectual it was.
Well, these people were intellectuals. They thought very deeply about these sorts of issues, and there's truth in the play as far as the Fabian Society, the existence of the Fabian Society, and what its goals were. So these people thought about society and bettering society a lot.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, strangely enough, despite all of these sort of highfalutin ideas, it's a romantic comedy. It operates on many levels. I think, there's a love story in there, but it's a very unconventional love story with unconventional people. George Bernard Shaw would not be my first choice for a subject of a romantic comedy. But I think people will just have a really fun time. It should be, it moves very quickly. It's, there's laughs, there's touching moments, and hopefully they will enjoy it.
I really enjoyed myself, and I really loved the character you played. You really played an unconventional character, which I really enjoyed.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Take care.
Engaging Shaw will be playing at Theater 40 of Beverly Hills from March 15th to April 15th. For more information, go to www.theater40.org.